I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, Lord.
That is awesome. That's awesome. All right. So welcome, Olivia Roberts, Harrison Lilly.
What up?
Let's go.
Let's go. It's been a minute.
It has. It's been.
I blame it on Olivia.
Yeah. No, it has been.
It's
3 weeks.
Has it been 3 or 2? I thought it'd been 2.
I'm pretty sure it's 3. Last week was 3rd.
So I was cognizant on statistics about making new habits. And I was like, we do not need to get to that point because we start getting out of a habit. My hobbies will start to reclaim my Saturdays.
Yes.
Oh, man. We didn't mean to skip. Olivia had some stuff going on. I had some stuff going on. Thank God flag football is over. If you don't know my story, that's fine. But I haven't had the opportunity to go see a certain little boy play sports. So that kind of took precedence over this podcast for a hot minute because I had that ability this year. And look, I showed up to almost every practice. I showed up to almost every game. I think I only missed like one of each. And I'm thankful. And now I'm also thankful it's over.
That's right. I love those memes where parents are like something like you've never been a sports mom or sports dad until you feel terrible because you're hoping your kid doesn't win the game and have to come back tomorrow.
No, we were there. So they were supposed to go into playoffs, but unfortunately Clayton's team wasn't very good. His mom was like, yeah, they're going to have playoffs if they win. And I was like, oh, dear God.
Yeah. It's like I want him to win because I want him to do good. And I really am okay if this is the end.
Well, Clayton was over it. So fun story. So Clayton he's 8 years old, but he's playing. He's not like a normal 8-year-old. Like every kid's like, oh, my kid's huge. He's outgrowing every. No. I mean, like, seriously, this dude's biological dad's like 6'5" plus. Yeah. He's going to be huge. Like, I only got about 5 more good years of laying beatings on this man before I have to run. And so, Clayton will likely be 6'3", 6'5" plus, depending on how genetics take place. Yeah. But he's also
his mom's tall. Like,
I don't think Michaela's like tall.
But I mean, for a
5'6".
Okay.
Yeah, 5'5". She's average at best.
Okay, well, 5'4" is like average.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, for a girl height, and then okay. Yeah. I was thinking she was a little taller than that.
She wears heels a lot.
Okay, I just see her on Facebook. So.
Yeah, but he's also like, this dude's shoulders are as broad as mine. This dude's got like birthing hips, right? And we're playing flag football. Now, for those of you who don't know, flag football is not for big men. It's for little men. It's for little people. It's for fast people. And Clayton's not that. And so I feel so bad for him because he didn't find his place, but it's because he got on the wrong bus.
Yeah.
Like, we should have put this man in tackle football where he belongs. And not because I want him to play tackle football, but he has an identity in tackle football. Like,
because he will tackle. He's big. He's going to hurt somebody. I mean, not in a bad way. I don't mean he's hurt.
Well, in flag football, there's no offensive or defensive line.
Right. Yeah.
It's running backs and wide receivers versus linebackers and cornerbacks and safeties, right? Your defensive backs. Clayton has no place in that game.
Yeah.
You know?
So speaking about football, and I know this is totally not something we normally talk about, but so with all of the, head injuries and the CTE and all those things, are you are you a fan, or would you? And then, I know your nephew plays football.
I'm a bad case study here. That doesn't bother me. I've had 10 plus concussions in my life between fights and football.
But so
and car wrecks.
Yeah, well, that's my.
Maybe that's what's wrong with me.
That's that's the part of me that I think is worried or concerned about it is because it's so easy to get a concussion.
Yeah. People
that don't play sports get them.
Yeah.
And people don't always know they get them. And even if you get them, there's nothing you can do about them. And then so people, if it's all true, right? Like, so now you've got 50, 60-year-old ex-football players that go from being normal or whatever to
super smart, but now they got some brain functionality issues.
Well, and they're violent, and then they live on the streets. Like, they have all these issues. And I'm wondering if
So I would need a case study where they were completely intelligent to begin with.
It's not the intelligence thing. It's that their behavior changes where they go from at least nonviolent to then violent.
Again, I would need to see a solid case study because I have been around. So in my life, like I've done MMA, played football. I've gotten between bar fights.
So
just regular like sanction, like not sanctioned because I never like actually was in a sanctioned fight, but training, a lot of training, like their car wrecks, like all these things. I mean, maybe there is a difference. But I'm naturally not a violent person. In fact, I say in my younger years, I probably actually was. I had a bad temper and was a violent.
Too. I think it's a young thing, maybe. I don't know. I had a way worse temper, I think, than most women or girls that I knew.
Yeah. But today, like, okay, so after all those concussions, I would just prefer not be in an argument or a fight.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I guess that's my, I've done a little, you read or you see things, but I don't know the whole lot about it. But I do know that, like, it can't be good to get a whole bunch of concussions. Yeah. It can't be good for your brain and get rattled.
I think a lot of the football player stuff, though, I really feel like that's a lot of high-powered lawyers with players who just want to make some money at the end of their career. I do think that there's some of that, some whistleblower stuff. Now, the best argument for this would be in professional fighting. Mm-hmm. Holy cow. I watched a video.
All the time.
Well, they're professionally getting knocked out. Like 10 concussions ain't nothing. They may get a concussion a week during training because they're training with people who can knock your head off.
Well, and do they, and I guess that's my thing is like, I would love to like, go in and like all the old fighters, you know, like we know they've had millions of concussions. Well, like how are their behaviors?
No, so those guys, so Joe Rogan, on his podcast, which I don't watch Joe's podcast, but I do watch the excerpts and stuff. Yeah. I'm interested in his reels.
I've watched some of his podcasts. I'm a big fan. Like
he's
when
good.
He's
great.
Well, it's I liked when he did. I used to like it, watch it because of the guest he has on, not so much him. It's the one. Gosh, and then he went on tour with him, Dave Chappelle. Him and Dave. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, that's hilarious. But he was doing. He was talking about the boxers in CTE and stuff. And there was a guy. He was a Hispanic boxer, I believe. And this guy, he showed videos of him talking and doing interviews. And this dude was sharp. He was a smart character. Just sharp, quick, enunciated his words perfectly. 10 years later, I mean, he sounded like Mike Tyson times two. And it's like, that had an effect on his body for sure. Yeah. Because now that guy's like, well, if I don't fight, I can't make no money because I'm useless now.
That's right.
Like, all I can do is fight.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's a real thing. Yeah. I also think that some football players exaggerate just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and
they're also getting, I say I've had concussions, but I've never had Ray Lewis tackle me. Yeah. So I'll give the benefit of a doubt.
Yeah. Okay, so that's we just a squirrel. I was just curious with him playing football because like next year do you think he likes football enough that he'll play football next year? Yeah,
and he wants an opportunity to see if that's something that he wants to do, and I'm all for it. Like I played football, it wasn't for me. I left. I was going to be a starter at a 5A high school. I started half the games my junior year. I was going to be a full-time starter my senior year on a team that went to the semis and the playoffs. Got robbed by Bastrop because they had illegal players on their team.
Okay, West cannot be talking about illegal
I'm
players.
Ouachita.
Oh,
I graduated from Ouachita.
I graduated from Ouachita.
In 07.
I always think
we've talked about that on this show.
I always think of you at West Monroe.
Hashtag Randall Mackey.
Yeah. Ouachita, we didn't win very many football games I don't think.
Well, we were awesome. Like, very good. Like, dude, we had some studs. That year, we had a guy who went and played for TSU and started. Let me see. We had Josh Strong at quarterback, who was an amazing athlete. Oh, my gosh. What was the running back's name? Keldrick Johnson. This dude was a monster. I watch these kids playing football now, and I'm like, I don't even know if they know what speed is. Yeah. Of course, West Monroe has recently been playing this kid who I feel like runs a 5+ 40. And now they did switch this year and put a kid in that Smoltz's friend. And that kid is quick. He's pretty electric. And then they have a younger kid who's pretty quick as well. But they were letting this little white kid play, and I was like, this kid runs like a 5'1". And then my brother's like, I think he does. I was like, this kid is slow. But apparently he was a junior high phenom, and so they thought that, like, because you're great in junior high, some people hit a wall.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think it did. And I'm not hating on the kid, because I've been told that the dude is a hustler, he's a player.
Yeah.
But, his skills did not translate into high school tailback.
Or they may not have yet, right? Because you do have those awkward years, and some people hit them harder
I think he was an early bloomer, I think is the problem.
Well,
I was a late bloomer.
see, I was an early bloomer, and look, I was my like high school jumper. Played, of course, 6th grade doesn't matter. It's 7th grade, like 8. I was.
Are you talking about basketball?
Basketball.
You were the person in the middle that jumped.
Because I was 5'4" in 6th grade, and then
everybody thought you were going to be.
Yeah.
And
I didn't grow another inch. I may have been 5'3", but I'm pretty sure I was 5'4". I never grew another inch.
That's great.
And then when I went to my freshman year, I was going to play, and I went to basketball camp I moved to Mississippi, and I went to basketball camp with these girls, and it was a private school, and so I'm like, it's private school girls. I can play basketball with them.
Could not.
These girls were so good that legit, like I do think there's something to say about sometimes women will be upset because the men's sports get more money or get more whatever. And I'm like, but it's all about how much attention you can bring in.
That's it.
Because these girls, they legit, the parents got together, they're in a private school, the parents got together and they built them a new gym that the boys didn't get to play in because they won everything. These girls were they were awesome.
Yeah.
And, and they had one girl, the point guard, she cracked me up because she had broke her wrist. And so they ended up cutting her cast off so she could use both hands. She played.
Kobe. Let's get it.
She was awesome.
Yeah.
With that said, but so that was my experience with, and then, so I played with them and I was like, yeah, I will never get on the court. And I loved softball. That was really so I really focused on softball, but I was just like, yeah, I can't hang with y'all. They were good.
Yeah. So I had the opposite experience. So I was a super late bloomer. Like I was soft, 7th, 8th, 9th grade. I went, so in Ouachita Junior High, because we had so many people in that day, like there was an A team and a B team. I was barely a starter on the B team. And we were bad. Like, if we played against the A team, we got wrecked. So, if you were barely starting on the B team, you weren't close. You were way far behind. But I stuck with it. And so, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, I am what my first 40 time ever was? I remember it. 7.3. 7 seconds. 7.3 seconds to run a 40. Now, I did my junior year. Now, this is unofficial. I timed myself. This is after I'd lost all the weight and I'd been running. I ran to 4.9.
Wow.
Yeah. Look, I thought I was white lightning, okay? You couldn't tell me that day. But
can't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
That song, yeah.
But in high school, so I went from one of the slowest people on the team to, by the time my sophomore year had hit, so that we got lined up in racks at Ouachita High School. And so if you were on, I don't know how many racks there were. I'm going to guess 30 racks. There were, 3 to 4 people paired per rack to work out every day. I'm on the very last rack. By the beginning of my junior year, I am on the first rack, working out with the strongest people in the gym. And it was just, first of all, I sounded like this until I was 15 years old. Mm-hmm. God did not let me operate. I don't know what happened, but anyway, when it hit. And my work ethic has always been up there. And so everything just kind of came in play. And then all of a sudden, I'm a player. Yeah. I'm getting reps. I'm getting to dress varsity. I'm getting, I didn't get to start a whole lot, but I was at least considered. When somebody went down, I learned all 5 positions. So I could play left guard, left tackle all the way to right tackle. So if they needed me, I knew every play. They knew who they could throw in. Yeah. And they did a little newspaper article on me for being able to switch positions. The coach was proud of me. He's like, hey, the newspaper wanted to, hey, who should we highlight? And they're like, well, Lilly, I guess. So I thought that was really cool of them.
I think so. That's cool.
Give me some recognition.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's my sports career. I quit I quit sometime in my junior year going into my senior year. So after football season was over, I went in there. I was like, here's my pads. I'm done. Yeah. So what are you going to do? I was like, I'm going to work. Mm-hmm. Never look back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
see, that's about the only reason I finished high school was softball. Now I made good grades and everything,
mm-hmm. I had to finish high school. My mom would have killed me.
Well, no, I had no interest at all. At that point, my senior year, I'm living on my own. And well, no, toward the end, at the beginning, I just moved back in with my mom. It wasn't, anyways. So I had, just moved back in with my mom. I had, just didn't, and I worked, but I just didn't like to go to school. So I would go to, like, I'd roll up at 6th period, which was, softball. And I think some of it too, because I changed schools, 3 times, 3 times in high school. So like my senior year, I had to go all day because all of my credits weren't like whatever. So I ended up taking like I had some classes with like freshmen, and they would just annoy me. And those were the first times I had not had like advanced placement classes, because I had to have given some different credits. And I would just get in there and I was just like, and it wasn't that they were freshmen. I think it was because the classes weren't advanced placement, which at Washall, those were typically smaller classes. So I'd been used to being in classes with maybe like 10 or 15, and then you go in a class with 40 and everybody's wild. And I was just like, y'all bother me. Like, I don't like I can't take the noise. Yeah. And so I was like, no, thank you.
I did something very similar my senior year. I knew what my next step in life was, and I was already looking for next. Like, I didn't care where I was living in the future. Now that I say that out loud, I think that explains why I didn't have friends. Everybody else was like prom and sports and doing prep rallies, and I'm like, okay, you guys are, and I don't mean this like that, but almost like, you guys are so caught up in this, like, this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I just grasped that it didn't matter at a really early time. My daughter is so caught up in it, like how she looks, who she's friends with, which trips she gets to go on. And I was like, none of this matters. Not a damn thing about this matters. You good grades, be a good person. Nothing else matters. And so I was in all advanced placement classes, and I went into all regulars classes my senior year. Now I only had to have a half-day schedule.
Yeah.
I hope the school board doesn't watch this, because I'm about to snitch on some people. They're going to go get my transcripts and get on to some people. So my teachers knew, like, this dude's a 4.0 student in advanced placement classes. Why is he here? And I was like, because I'm just here to get away from here so that I can go to work at noon.
That's right.
Most of my teachers my senior year were like, here's the deal. We don't care what you do. Here's your assignments. Here's when the tests will be. You have to pass everything. We don't care how you do it, and we don't care if you show up, because quite frankly, you're just a distraction to these other kids.
Yeah.
Show up, don't show up, pass your tests. We don't care anymore. I quit going.
Yeah. Well, that's, yeah.
They got A's. I would go run and get them lunch. Yeah. I'd go to another teacher's class and hang out.
Yeah. Well, see, to me, I think that's valid. Why? Like, a couple things. Either they could make it more interesting or be okay with it. Like, why do I have to sit here just to sit here? Because that was my very similar. So I had racked up so many absences that it had got, like, it was a big deal. And I believe her name was Miss Abby for first period. And it was like, I was student government or whatever. I think I was the treasurer. And we didn't.
Because y'all managed so much money.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't even know if that's what my title was, but, like, I don't even know. I'm not sure how I got elected to the position, because I didn't really think anybody knew me. So maybe I think I ran against somebody else. I don't remember. All I say is, so I get, so that was first period. I'd racked up so many absences. Apparently, like, people noticed. And so she was like, look, I'm going to have to start counting your absences. I was like, okay, that sucks. So then I would go to her class and leave and come back.
Yeah.
And even, like, the guy, when I would be pulling down the security guard, when I'd pull up and I would go to the softball, he's like, you didn't pull out of that park yet? I'm like, no, I'm just going to softball practice. And then where was I? But like one time, and then they narked on me to my mom. So, like,
bitches.
I know, right? Yeah. So my mom called up there. She had just gotten in an accident and she needed me to come pick her up. And they were like, well, she doesn't need to miss any school. And she's like, my car's in the ditch. I need my daughter to come pick me up.
Yeah.
And so they were like, okay, we're going to let her, but you should know that she has all these absences. And my mom is like, well, doesn't she still have good grades? I'm like, yeah. And there she's like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't care. But this is the same mom. Like, I've got 5 older brothers, right? 1 younger brother, 5 older brothers.
Yeah. It's like, my daughter's not killing people. I don't give a
That's right. And my younger brother at this point, I think he may have already, my senior year, his freshman, he may have been in school still, or he may have dropped out. I'm not sure. or soon after. So like I didn't give her really trouble. Like I remember one time she called me. I don't lie to my mom. I don't always volunteer information, but I don't lie.
Correct.
One time she called me and she was like, hey, where you at? And it was late. And I was like, I'm headed over to Lauren's house. And she's like, what's a school night? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, are you? And this was right after I turned 18. I turned 18 when I was a senior. And she said, are you going out tonight? And I said, yes, ma'am. You think that's a good idea? I said, it'll be fine. She said, okay.
It'll be fine.
And so.
Oh, I don't imagine saying that to Pam. My mom would have snatched my ass up. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Violent.
Well, it's just like I said, like I remember, but my mom is so funny. I think part of it is she knows how I am. And I'm much better about this now as a grown up. But when I was young, if you made something, like if you gave me a reason to push back, I would like, okay, you know my brother Chuck? Mm-hmm. We were wrestling one time, and I was a freshman, I think, because that's the years I lived with him. So I was a freshman, I think, in high school. And we were wrestling, and he had turned my arm or my pinky or something, and it was hurting. And I told you break it, you buy it. Like, I'm not tapping out. Now I'm smarter than that because that's dumb.
Yeah.
And yet.
So did he break it?
No, he tapped. I knew he was going to tap. He's not going to break my hand.
No, okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I say that at the time. I don't know that I knew it. I was okay if he broke it. Like I was just like, we're not doing that. But part of it is because like I couldn't at that point. I couldn't beat up my brothers, but I could resist. You know, I was on the resistance. Well,
Type of good groomers.
So then we go to what was I going to say about my mom? One year again, I would have been a junior or senior, and I think she needed a brush or something. I was like, oh, it's in my bag, my purse, whatever. And she gets it, and she sees a pack of cigarettes, and she goes, are these yours? And I said, yes, ma'am.
Ugh, trashy.
I'm not going to lie. And I quit smoking here. Like, I haven't smoked since like I was 29. But up until then, I smoked. Yeah. And I was like, oh, no. I said, yes, ma'am. And I was a little bit concerned. And she was like, no, it's a bad habit. Yep. Okay. Put him back in, and nothing else was said. And I don't think that's the right parenting for everybody. For me, it was exactly the right, because once I had nothing to resist or push back, it wasn't like I was just like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah. But had that, you'd have been like, I'm going to smoke 2 packs today.
Yes. Like it was a big
Let me
thing.
really poison my lungs. I don't need those.
But yeah, so anyway, so it was, but yeah, so I don't know why, like, there was no point for me to be in school my senior year. And I was done. But though, if I wasn't,
I really do think they should analyze that. Like, there are some people, some with good grades, some with mediocre grades. I would argue that people with bad grades should still be there. There should be no reward for that, for the opt-out. But my senior year was a waste of I learned nothing. I ate a lot of Chick-fil-A. A lot of teachers ate Chick-fil-A because of me. Because they would just be like, yeah, here's to go get us some lunch. Like, all right, like, I do whatever. I didn't pay for their lunch sometimes.
I just want out of here.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
So it was an absolute waste of a year for me.
Yeah.
And that's something that maybe I could have, man, if they would look at the things that they could do and teach people business or finances. Yeah. I mean, there's
like anything.
So much opportunity.
Yeah.
I know that there's local business owners. I would teach a class like that.
That's right.
For free.
Well, or
like,
even,
I like that stuff.
Like, I was working at the mall at that point, and I worked at Coffee Cafe. They could have given me tests based on what I learned about customer service, or, hey, how, like they could have.
Like a work release program.
Yes. Something.
Yeah.
But I think that's the problem I had with college as well. Like, I ended up going to, I went to a 2-year community college. I think I managed to be there for 4 years because I kept changing majors, dropping classes. There's no reason why you're taking, like, in college, unless you're going to be an English major or why do they have people taking like dumb classes like?
Because they want you to be well-rounded and liberal.
But my thing is, well-rounded, that's high school. Yeah. My mom, I remember when she went back to college, she had to take a PE class. Yeah. That is stupid. I
learned in college that middle-class white men are America's problem.
Well, they are.
And that's when I decided that I didn't want to be in college anymore. I said, fine, I'll be an upper class white male so I can tell you what to do. No, but seriously, all those comments were
get any of that
partially snarky and partially true.
I didn't get any of that, but probably because I didn't pay attention. Like, I literally remember driving up to college one day, and my buddies, I played softball in Texas, and we traveled, and it was awesome, and I loved it. But they were all grown-ups, like official grown-ups, had jobs, families, that type of thing. And I got a phone call from my buddy, and he was like, hey, we're at Hooters, we're going to be here, and then we're going to go, and like, so it was like probably noon, we're going to, eat here, and we're going to go do this, and and then we'll go play softball this evening. And I said, all right, I'm on my way. I pulled right out of the parking lot. I was like, so.
Don't do that. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that on college. So well,
especially, like, you and I both love to study and learn. Mm-hmm. If that's what college was about, it'd be awesome. If they're what is your major? What is it you want to learn? Let's go deep.
Yeah, like I want to business class. All right, I want to go sit in a room with a CEO, and I want to watch their day. I want to go watch 100 CEOs in a year and see how they talk to people, what they do in their spare time, what they're learning, what they're reading.
Yeah, they could literally go, okay, here, you have to learn this, pass this, and then you get to go see this person. You got to learn past. That way, you're not wasting their time as well, right?
Yeah.
But 100%, it was. World geography or world history. Why did I need to take that in college when history had nothing to do with any of my majors? Yeah. And now that you have Google or you have you don't. Anyways, I just
no. So I hot take from me. All right, so I want to talk about this whole college thing. There's a kid. So when the last girlfriend I had, she had a nephew. Well, actually, her sister works for the company. And so I was obviously hanging out with my girlfriend at the time, but also I hang out with Amanda Colvin, who's on the team. They're stepsisters. And so Amanda has a son who was a senior in high school last year. And so when we were at the lake and stuff, some of his friends would come by. And there was a kid in that group that I see things in. Like, man, this God gave him all the tangibles. Really did. And he's in his freshman year of college now, and I'd never want to tell a kid not to go to college. I feel like I'm not their parent.
That's right.
That's not my place.
College can be. There are some, as we drag college, there are certain things about college that are good.
Yes.
I would actually, I've even thought about going back to college to get either psychology or even a business degree, like an MBA.
Vocology and business.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah.
So I'm not anti-college. Mm-hmm. I do think it's dumb that we ask, because at least for the kids that don't know what they want to do, parents that get upset because their kids don't go to college at 18 or 19, I'm like, why pay all that money? Let them wait. I also have an issue with the fact that colleges, like certain big colleges, they just go there to party. Mm-hmm. And then people want to talk about them like they're kids. I'm like, no. A 19-year-old is a grown-ass person.
I mean, maybe not mentally, but they have all the rights and abilities of an adult.
But you can't but don't treat like when you have the scandals at colleges where and then colleges piss me off when they play by different rules. Like if somebody gets raped, they don't go to the police, they go to the college, whatever. And campus police, and then they keep it all in house. Like, hell no, they're grown ups. If anybody else did that. So anyways, I don't know, you're off that tangent.
No, you're good. Yeah. So anyway, I see a lot of talent in this kid, but not in a scholastic manner. Now he's not dumb, right?
That's right, yeah.
I don't know what his grades are, but I'm assuming he's a BC student if I had to guess. But he's not dumb. He's not dumb by any means. Dude communicates well. He's a good looking kid. He doesn't mind working. I just see a lot of me in him. And, I was talking to him about a week or two ago, and I keep up. I was like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" He goes, "I just don't think college is for me, Harrison." And I said, "Yeah, man." I said, "We've kind of had that discussion." I said, "I just don't I'm not your parent, and I don't feel comfortable telling you
But I'm gonna tell you.
Hey, oops, said his name. Bleep that, Connor. I just don't think college is your thing." I said, "Do you want to be a doctor? No. Do you want to be a lawyer? No. Do you want to be a professor? Do you want to be an educator? Do you want to be something that you have to specialize in a degree in to go get the job?" And he's like, "There is not a thing on this earth I'm interested in." He goes, "I'm taking this class." And he goes, "I don't even know what I would do with that." I was like, "Yeah, that's what we call a waste of money." Mm-hmm. And I wasted 2.5 years of my life chasing what society tells me to do. And turns out, me and my high school diploma and my ton of books that I've read are doing better than all of my friends who graduated college. The only people who are doing what I'm doing are the people who went to med school.
Yeah.
And I would argue that I'm probably outpacing them if I had to guess, because if you're 35 and a doctor, you've probably only really been a doctor for about 3 or 4 years, just getting out of residency. You're just now starting to make money. You haven't built any assets or anything yet.
Well, so this is sorry, finish your thought and then I'll share this.
So anyway, I was just like, man, do you want to specialize? Because if you do, I'm going to encourage you, go specialize. And he goes, I don't want to do any of that. I said, what do you want to do? He goes, I want to be an entrepreneur, and I think that I can be a great salesperson, and I want to be an entrepreneur through sales. And I said, well, that's my path. I said, I'd love to teach you how to do it, but I said, dude, I will personally mentor you. You come work for one of the companies. You give me 5 years. I'm going to show you what a lot of money looks like. And he's like, man, that's awesome. And he's like, what do I need to do? I said, you need to go talk to your parents.
Yeah.
I was like, because I'm not going to get this phone call from somebody's angry mom or dad. Like, did you tell my son not to go to school? Like, no, I definitely didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, no, my own daughter, what do you want to do? Because I'm not paying for a 4-year social club. And but she does. She does want to do something that demands a higher education. And so I was like, hey, that's fine. I said, where do you want to go? LSU. Try again. Because
well, that's the other thing is like community college is a great place to start because they do.
I can't get her bougie ass in community college.
But they do. But they take you get to bypass a lot of the dumb stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
or you can at least get your cores out of the way for cheap.
That's what I mean.
Because it's not. The curriculums are largely the same, and I'm sure there are some professors that are better than others, just like in every other job path. And yet, did you know that a 4-year degree from LSU and a 4-year degree from ULM are the same piece of paper?
Mm-hmm. Well,
but you'll pay triple.
And not only now, the other thing. Now, if you're going to again, depending on what you're going in for. Mm-hmm. There are some things to say about going to a school that people know about or think about because they may be the people that are hiring you.
Again, if you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, but a nurse.
But even if you were going to,
they don't care. They just need a nurse.
Well, they just need nurses.
Yeah.
But if you were going to business school, that may matter because other business people that went to that school, you met them through the sororities and the fraternities.
That's going to be networking opportunities that you can create for yourself without spending $250,000 on your education.
Agreed.
Because if you were, like today, right now, I'm on a podcast with you. Did you know that somebody reached out to the company this week? Oh, high five. Here we go. All right. Someone reached out to the company last week and sent me a really, really nice message. And they said, Harrison, I didn't like you. I've gotten to know you through your podcast, and I feel like I have seen a certain level of personal growth and just getting to know who you really are rather than what people tell me about you.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, you got to know me on the podcast? I don't know that I'm my best self here because I'm being very opinionated for theatrical part. Like, yes, these are my thoughts and opinions, and yet I'm probably being a little bit more aggressive than I actually am in my real life in public anyway. In private, I'm very opinionated.
Yeah, I would say this is pretty much you.
Yeah, but anyway, she got to know me and she goes, I'd like to move my license. I was like, I screenshot and asked her to Amy. I was like, the hell? But I did appreciate that. Like, it's someone who had, rather than having personal experiences with me, had listened to what other people had said about me. Yeah. And then she got to know me through this little medium. And so my point with that is that you can create tools and things like this. You can send these clips out
we used to not have the opportunity.
Business professionals, and go, this is who I am, and this is how I'd like to affect your life and your company. How would you feel about having someone like me in your organization? When can we set up a time to talk?
That's right.
And do networking opportunities. I posted the other day. So one of the things we do really, really well in THLT is our lead generation. The company.
Just that hand.
I'm being crippled.
No, you can do it.
I talk with my hands.
Talk with your hands, just not here. Here. That's Talladega Nights. I don't know what you're about. Here.
Yeah. All right.
If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah.
Whistle, Bobby.
I'm gonna hop on you like a spider monkey. Like a spider monkey.
I may have watched that movie a little.
I love that. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It teaches so many life lessons. So. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna get my head out of Talladega Nights. I'm watching that movie tonight. Thanks a lot.
Dear baby Jesus.
Dear sweet baby Jesus. All right. You have messed me up. So I was on Lab Coat Agents. It's a big realtor community, like 250,000 members. and someone was talking trash about homes.com, which I laugh when people get mad at lead sources and go, the leads are trash. Let's be clear. All leads are trash. You know what the difference in our conversion rate is? Follow up. The difference is in the follow up. And so I posted in there, I said, homes.com is actually, so here's our lead sources in order. And it was bang for buck lead sources. Google is number one, not Zillow. Zillow is number two. After that is homes.com. After that is Fellow. After that, it's going to be Facebook, Instagram leads. And, but Facebook, Instagram leads are the cheapest, and you can get a lot of leads in your system, which we use a healthy mix of all these things. And, so I said, we actually we have a 3x ROI on Fellow. Now I've got probably a 7 to 8x return on Google. So we're about to get a little better at that because I like my return there. And then Zillow is probably I haven't ran the numbers. I'm going to guess real quick about 4x. It's a little bit better than homes.com. And then homes.com is about 3x. And I said, we're actually getting a 3x return. I said, the difference in what y'all's success rate is and what ours is going to be our follow-up game. I said, because we have specialized follow-up for each one of these lead sources, and we have people that do it. It's not on me, because what I know about agents is agents will only call 1, maybe 2 times if we're lucky. But Olivia, let's test your follow-up knowledge for lead generation. How many times do you have to follow up with a lead statistically before you have a meaningful conversation?
Typically 9 to 12.
Boom.
And that's just not talking to them even, just calls.
Have a meaningful conversation.
Yeah.
Doing the triple tap on the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But those are things that we have specialized in, that we learned. And so I posted my experiences in there. And this dude, so I've been looking into public speaking. It's a tool I'd like to sharpen. So this guy reaches out to me and he goes, hey man, would you please share with me some of the things you're doing? So I shared something with him. Well, I click on this dude's social media platform, find out, guess what this guy is? He's a public speaker. He's going to be on stage with Tom Ferry. Yeah. If you don't know who Tom Ferry is, he's the number 1 real estate coach in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know what the dude's net worth is, but it's huge. He has a ton of coaching clients. He's a great company. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would say.
I've heard good and bad, but my experiences with Tom have been good.
Yeah.
Even though he touts another agent as the number 1 agent in Louisiana, and that is not true, Tom. You're welcome. Mm-hmm. I am. You're welcome again. Yeah. He does.
Who?
Trey, he's out of Baton Rouge. Can't remember his name. Last name's W. He runs the W group.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, he's a great guy. So me and Trey actually talked on the phone, and he goes, hey, man, I've been told you're the number 1 agent in Louisiana, but, I'm going to see Tom Ferry right now. I'm flying to go see Tom at his house, and he thinks I'm the number 1 agent in Louisiana. I was like, all right, well, let's just compare numbers. And he's like, all right, what'd you do 2 years ago? I told him, he goes, yeah, we didn't beat you. He's like, what'd you do last year? Like, yeah, we didn't beat you again. He goes, what are you on pace to do this year? He goes, we're not going to beat you again. I was like, we just don't publicize our stuff very well. And so anyway.
Well, and he's with that organization, so those are the numbers they're looking at.
Well, he actually turns in his numbers.
Yeah.
We don't turn in our numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so I click on this dude's page. He's a public speaker, and he's going to actually sit on stage with Tom Ferry. And so I was like, hey, dude, I just saw your page. I've actually been looking to sharpen that tool. I was curious, would you share something with me? If you ever went to a mastermind, would you invite me? I'm happy. I will actually come travel to you and spend time with you. I'll pay. What do I need to do? And so I'm actually going on his podcast this week.
Oh, cool.
And so we get to know the guy a little bit, and hoping that may lead to something for me. So all dragging back to that point, all right? We went off on a few trails. But because of doing stuff like this, and because being connected and networked, I didn't have to go to some crazy thing or pay a lot of money to go meet somebody who's doing what I want to do. I have gotten to use my networking and my skills on social media and our media presentations to get someone to talk to me.
Yep. Well, and that's the cool part is now there are more and more avenues to do these things. And with that said, you've networked a lot. First off, you're that type of guy, but from, high school to owning the bars and things, a lot of people. And when you got into real estate, you knew a lot of people. Now, it took a while to put all those things together.
Yeah, but I do consider myself a community influencer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have a huge sphere, and whether people like me or hate me, they know me. Yeah. I think that I like the older generation, probably not because they don't like on social media and didn't drink a whole lot at the bars I ran around. But but through real estate and through the bars and all that stuff.
Yeah, you network well.
Yeah.
And you were always, even when we were at the other company, you were always the first one that, if I, hey, go ask Harrison this, go, let him show you this, that, or the other. So I think that's part of who you are, is you're always happy to help.
Yeah.
So,
time.
yeah.
But time is a bigger thing today than it ever has been.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself ridiculously slammed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I hired someone to give me back my time.
Yeah.
And my schedule is even busier now than it was. And I was like, what happened, guys? So,
yeah. It's just, but that goes back to just like when you going back to be the public speaker, how are you sharpening your skills in order to, release things? And even when you talk about get your time back, I think it's we have to tell our time where to go, or we wonder where it's been, that saying. So, what do you have in your schedule? Whether it's white space or, hey, I'm going to go do this and do this. Because if it's not in your schedule, right, it doesn't exist.
Right.
And so that's part of maybe just spitballing why you're hire somebody for that and you still keep getting busier. Well, some of it is also because maybe what you want to do.
I do well. So, and just so everybody knows, like how I got so much busier. So, in our model, right, we have listing agents, we have buyers agents, and then there's me, and I have been a listing agent since the inception of this company. And so we have to have 2 listing agents because our volume is so high. One person will literally be a slave to the business. If that happens, they'll make great money, but they will not have a quality of life. And so we hired the second one on, and I said, I'm only going to work my personal sphere, renovate now projects, and cash offers. Because I'm the only one allowed to do those, because you have to have large construction knowledge for that. And when I started focusing on I want 2 money meetings per day. A money meeting can be buy a business, consult a business, because that's networking for future business. That's right. Recruiting, renovate now, pay later, cash offer. What else? Any sort of high-level mastermind where I'm getting to network in with people where that could create future business. That's what I would consider money meetings. I'm consistently getting 1 to 3 of those a day. I want 2 on average, but these meetings aren't like my listing appointments. Listing appointments, I can be in and out of somebody's house in 20 to 45 minutes. I'm sitting in some of these meetings for 2, 3, and 4 hours. I did that multiple times this week, and I was like, "Where'd my week go?" Like, well,
that's what you're, and I think, and so it may just be feeling different because you're switching, right? Because you're still doing this and you're added this to it. So it's just kind of that expression, your new normal.
Yeah. I'm probably going to start leveraging out my personal listing appointments to not mandate cash offer or renovate. And then I am probably, so we have listing team meetings where I have a structure for them. They don't do it well right now. I'm gonna lay the hammer down in the R2 building. But
when are you moving in?
We got our final permits from the city this week.
Nice.
Well, we had to re-permit after I fired the last contractor. So that's Jay Ludwig came in and did me a solid. JTL Construction guys, I absolutely recommend him for commercial or residential, new construction or remodel. He's amazing. He's a great guy. Him and his wife both. And so he's helping me out of a bind there because I don't have a commercial GC, so he had to come in and pull the permits for me. And then city inspections are next week.
Nice.
The only blowback I expect, because we didn't do any of the ADA stuff, because last time I built a building in the city, we did everything the way that we thought we were, and then they had us rip it all out and redo it. I was like, you know what? I'll let you give me my punch list.
Tell me what we need to do.
Yeah. So I'll have some handicap parking spot things and some handrails and stuff. Outside of that, I don't expect anything major. We've got that building wrapped up tight. So I'm hoping here within the next 3 to 4 we're got a CO and ready to go.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So we'll actually be doing these podcasts in R2 moving forward. But where was I going with that? Because you asked me how the building was going, and then I went off on that. What were we talking about?
The meetings.
Oh, yeah. Once we get in the meetings, that I think I'm going to take a step back from some of those meetings because that's 9 to 12 every day of my life. And I'm finding myself like, how am I supposed to work on the public speaking thing? There's
a course that I'll share with you when we get off this. I can't think of the name of it, or I'd share it with you on here, but that's actually on my next list as well. But it's Darren, who public speaks for like all kind of people. He told me about it, and some of the people that have actually come to, like, Keller Williams, they used to have the big things. You have people come on stage. They've been through that. He says it's phenomenal, and they help you get speaking gigs, the whole bit, whatever you want. But they teach you how to have that powerful presence on stage.
Yeah, and presence is not the thing that I'm actually worried about. So fun fact, I get super nervous in groups of people. So if you ever see me in public and you're like, wow, Harrison's such an ass, he's not talking to anybody, he's sitting there in a corner all to himself, he thinks he's so awesome. It's not that. My social anxiety is massive, like to the point where my vision, like right now, I can see from here to here, right? I can see everything here. It goes here. Yeah. This is all I can see. My heart rate goes through the roof. My breathing escalates. My anxiety is literally at the top of my head. Yes. And I struggle with that. And I know that the only way to beat it is to do it. Yeah. And I know that my story and some of the things that I've done in my life, that I know I can help people. I know I can bring some young men and young women to the next level. And I want to do that. So I got a demon I got to fight. Yeah. And so my goal is to sharpen that tool and beat that thing.
Yeah. Well, and I would go back to, so like you tend to, and I think this is a great thing, so please hear that, you tend to just dive in and do things. And that's a good thing. And people have gone before you. Yeah. So if you go to those places and you learn those tools, I think you'll get there even faster. Yeah. And even to there were things that when I went through Bold that I didn't even realize, like how you stand, how you cross your legs or don't cross your legs. When you're writing on a board, like you'll notice you tend to put your back and write. You're supposed to write. So there's just little things like that they practice with you. Also, how to tell stories and things like that. It's really a cool, cool pieces. Because I do think you have I think that would be a huge opportunity for other people to hear that.
Yeah, and I think also when you go and do stuff like that. So every time I post something on one of these big boards, and I start like, hey, this is what we do. These are our stats. My inbox floods with messages. Because I'm not in this local thing where everyone who's listening to me is competition or their broker's like, Harrison bad, right? So they don't want to listen to me. Like when I go out of town and I go, hey, we do this. This is our results from this. People are like, oh, holy shit, this dude's the real deal. Yeah. And so people actually listen, and when people don't have a preconceived bias against you, you now have a large opportunity to create a relationship, a business partnership, whatever. And that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Like if you don't know by now, like I like to create and I love to create new businesses. We bought one a week and a half ago. It's already going super well. We're hoping to have an owners meeting today. If this rain keeps up and nobody wants to go to the ULM game, we'll have an owners meeting because I went through the store and I was like, hey, I want to optimize some things here. So we're meeting, going over budgets, and then going to vote. And we're going to vote to do those changes for sure. So no, but I love that, and it's so funny. Like I think
the bigger the stage, the more opportunity, the more people the more opportunities you have.
Oh yeah, like the opportunity. I think about this, I say no to more deals and more things today than I say yes to. And, in my younger years, I was like, man, where's that opportunity at? Like, why does all these other people have opportunity? And it's funny, the more money I make and the more things that I've done, the more people who just call me and go, hey, is this something you want to do? Like, would you invest in this? You want to go buy a house with me? And it's just so like, yeah, it's like you wonder why all these, like the rich get richer. It's because the rich get more opportunity. And it's a wonderful, like I say, wonderful thing, wonderful for me at this point. But there is something to be said for that the harder you work at the beginning and you think that it's never going to go anywhere and that you're spinning your wheels and you're not building and you're not doing anything. And I still feel like that at times. But then when you sit down and write down, like, what's the opportunity? What's the productivity? What's the result? Yeah. What is the dream here? And how close are we to hitting it? And you start actually measuring those things. You go, wow. This thing has really moved really far, really fast, and you just got to sit in gratitude on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. When that makes me think of, we think the rich get richer. One way to get into it, I think about Derek Busby. He owns or I think still does. They may have sold it, but the big building in West Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
I won't go into all of it, but
with the black box on Arkansas.
Yeah. Used to have the bank.
I'd like to buy that building, Derek. If you're listening,
yeah,
I'd love to buy that building.
And I'll text him and see if he still has it. But that was like he wanted that.
Commercial real estate's down. Times are hard. You should definitely take my offer.
He had an opportunity, but there was and he took that opportunity to a partner so that he could buy it, right? Mm-hmm. So like I think that's the thing is also the more people that does, not being fearful to take, find the deal. Everybody says there's money out there. You find the deal, you can go get the money. Yeah,
if you're known for being the guy who knows how to find the deal, and you're a good person, and you bring something to the table other than finding the deal, because if all you can do is find the deal, they typically don't want to make you a partner. They just want to pay you a commission, pay you a kickback.
And I think too, it's yes, and is the good deal good enough? And are you,
right,
yeah.
Right. So and I'll be very clear. So we just bought a business. And I'm the majority owner of the business. Ask me how much money I spent.
How much money did you spend?
Not one penny. Do you know what the return is on an investment where you're the majority owner and you didn't spend one penny? That number is infinite. My number is infinite. I took in partner, so theoretically I'm losing profit, but everyone else funded the deal for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. The power of partnership is one of the most amazing things. Mm-hmm. You can choose a lot of different kinds of partnerships. Most of the time, I like to partner with the people who have helped change my life as a return on their investment in me. There's someone in this world that has given me a lot, opportunities that other people wouldn't. My status just isn't, like I didn't come into this world with money, right? So they took a big chance on me in a partnership. That partnership has paid off in spades for both of us. However, I feel very blessed and honored that this person took the chance and invested that much in me and still continues to. And for that reason, when I have opportunities, I think about that person and go, hey, I'm going to go buy this building. Hey, I'm going to go buy this thing. You want to come buy it with me? Yeah. I don't need a partner. I can buy all the real estate I don't want to here locally. I can't go to California and buy anything, but it's also like partnership is just a cool thing because then when they have an opportunity, guess what they think about? Do I want to do this alone, or would I like to diversify risk, or maybe bring in some other cash or whatever? And so you get opportunity through creating opportunity with other people. Good partnership, equally yoked partnership is a beautiful thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That might be one. That might be a podcast talk that we need to do. Is just talk about different types of partnerships and setting them up and things to that effect. That might be a really cool one.
Yeah, absolutely. You know something else I want to do this year? And I've been wanting to do it. I just have not. Time has been the biggest thing. I want to teach my financial system, which is very simple. It's 2 books. Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey. And I want to start with that because I want to help everyone heal their personal finances first. And argue with me all you want. It's good. It's good. New financial habits, safe financial habits, conservative financial habits, being debt-free is a good thing. And then you do that and you set yourself up for winning, and then that's, your foundation. And then you read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah. And a variation of all his books, honestly. And then you learn how to leverage good debt. Good debt makes money, right? And I think a lot of people need to hear that because all they hear is, well, debt's fine. Going to buy a Lambo and putting it in your driveway is not good debt. Mm. Now, if you have 5 assets that pay that note and pay for themselves, now we have discovered great debt.
Yeah.
You can have anything in this world you want as long as someone else is paying for it, right? Yeah. And so it's just a system of checks and balances and understanding how to underwrite the deal, see the deal through, and act in a disciplined manner with your finances. That's something I'm passionate about because that is the origin of all of this, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because like even after you were making, quite a bit of money, you were still living. I
lived in a $70,000 house.
Yeah,
and I mean, neighborhood was safe and all that. That was my biggest priority. But I was a single guy with a dog. Like, I don't really care where I sleep. And honest to God, like the reason I put the for sale sign in this house is like, hey, I love this. This is my dream house. I love this house. I could live and die here. It's fine with me. And this is the only, as of this week, it's the only piece of personal debt I have.
Nice.
Cybertruck is paid off. Let's go. So it's the only debt I have. Well, I own a house 3 miles down the road in a wonderful location that I lived in right after my divorce. And I was like, it was this little 2,000 square foot house. It's updated.
Yeah.
And no, it's a rental right now. It net cash flow is about $1,500 a month. And I was like, I could just go live there and have zero bills. And then I could, like, what could I do with the X amount that it cost me to live here? And I was like, man, that's a lot of money. Like, who could I hire? What business could I buy? Like, for the same thing that I'm living in here, I could go buy a $500,000 business somewhere. Yeah. Well, and then that $500,000 business, what would that likely net me? 150 a year?
Yeah.
You know? Like, that's what this house is costing me. And when you start to calculate that, that's that discipline. What is your money worth, and how do we get to do, like,
how do we
do
utilize it to do what we want? Yeah.
Yeah. And then so theoretically, instead of spending all my money on this, I should have went and bought the business first and let the business cash flow this. Or if you're like me and nothing's ever enough, you go, how do I use that other 150 a year to go buy another business?
That's right.
Let's double down, baby.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so that's where my head's at on all that.
Well, so how close are you to, because I think we'll ask this question and start wrapping up, but how close are you to, your goal was to have 10 businesses that pay you $100,000 a year? Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, that was my retirement goal.
So
I'm way closer than I ever thought I would be within a year of setting that goal, because I bought some businesses. I will definitely be in that tax bracket within the next 3 to 5 years. But I'm not gonna. I said I was gonna stop.
Yeah.
Guess what? Like, I'm about to Wolf of Wall Street, y'all guys. I'm not leaving. You can't make me go. Like, no, I get more excited every time there's a deal. And like, there's, we just bought that other business. Well, through that other business, we have discovered something fun, is that that kind of business that we bought, people want to sell to me their businesses like that one. And so I'm going to go on 2 interviews this week or next week, and probably buy 2 more. And then after, I've already actually been talking to somebody else who's looking at retiring, and they own a lot. And they were like, hey, I'd sell to you if you'd let me own or finance them to you so I can be the bank, so I can get my retirement money. And I was like, what are the terms? He said, better than the bank. I said, done, son.
That's right.
Yeah. Just let me know when you're ready to go.
Yeah.
I'll call you daddy and everything.
Yeah.
But no, so that my retirement goal is, I'm almost there. And oh my gosh. All right. So something super funny. So, my net worth goals. So I told you in one of our podcasts, like, my goal is to be a millionaire by 40. I hit that at 31. Goals to be a multimillionaire by 45. I did that at 33, and that number has almost doubled today. As soon as my appraisal comes back from R2, it will be over doubled.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this, but I likely have well over $1 million equity in that building. If my contractor had done what he was supposed to do, I would actually be doing that deal with no money out of pocket.
Yeah.
No money out of pocket.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, because my contractor didn't do, I'm like $350 out of pocket. But, learned a lesson, right? But no, it's been a wonderful journey. I'm super thankful for it, and it's going really well. And I do want to say this. None of that is possible without the people in my life. Mm-hmm. It is not lost on me that I am not that smart. You can't possibly work that hard to make that happen by yourself. It is.
Who are you surrounding yourself with matters.
It is. It is for people. I specifically, like, Alivia, Amy, Amanda, Charles and Zelmo, my some members of my family, people that have believed in me and invested in me. And I do want everyone to know that I didn't do this by myself. I did this with a team. Everyone kicks up to somebody, including me. And, you can't do this alone. Mm-hmm. You can't grow something this big alone. You find awesome people, and you love them, and you're loyal. You stay loyal to them, and you rock and roll with them.
Yeah.
No matter what. There will be hard times. There will be very hard times in every relationship.
There will be.
But, so I think some things are worth fighting for, and people are definitely worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
I think that's actually a good note to end this podcast.
That is. I think that is a good let's go moment. I even like some tears in my eyes right there.
Yeah, that's huge.
So, but anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. We will. We don't intend to be. We will. We will more consistent. Now that we have the sports season, we're gonna have to come up with a contingency plan for that next year because that was wild. I mean, I was at a volleyball game or a football practice or game every single night.
Yes.
So we will be more consistent. We will have a contingency plan for that. See you soon. Let's go.